Hello everyone, and welcome back to some more Prismata. I've already jumped in the queue here, and in the meantime, let's see what's being played by other players right now. I haven't seen Lightning in forever. I forget, have you guys seen Valkyrian yet? It's a new unit, the most complicated unit added in the most recent patch. 12 green, green, blue, red, so pretty expensive. It has 4 health, and it's got this really weird mechanic where it attacks for 4, and it builds 2 barriers with exhaust 1. So they don't block this turn for your opponent, they block next turn. You deal 4 damage, and then next turn you sort of give your opponent 2 health. So in a way, this is just a 2 damage attacker, right? It's very it's a bit overpriced for a 2 damage attacker. But it's not really just that. Even all by itself, it's a bit better than a 2 damage attacker because you can sort of play it like a 4 damage Isochronous, right? Attack every other turn. And you do 4 and then 0 and then 4 and then 0, which is certainly better than 2 and then 2 and then 2 and then 2. But it also has like a ton of cool synergies. Like here you're seeing Cryo Ray synergize. You freeze the barriers. You know, there's a number of other synergies. Okay. You guys have already seen Urban Sentry, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So what is this? Like a kind of red-blue? Hannibal and Arca sort of thing, I guess? I don't think I really want to get involved in Urban Sentries. Honestly, not much in this set inspires me to do anything interesting. I kind of just like a Hannibal, I guess, is like I'll end up getting one at some point probably, and nothing else is that cool. Oh no, don't do that. There we go. Interesting to see my opponent would go for green. I guess that makes sense. As player 2, you might very well prefer like this builds out very naturally into Urban Sentries, which is not an awful unit. For player 1, I think I'd rather go red-blue. Next turn, I can play TTB to get me into Hannibal territory. Or just like start getting walls, you know? I'm actually probably going to build Rhino this turn, right, to block his Urban Sentry. So that's fine. You can still get the Blast Forge in. And I'm pretty sure I want one. So that has me settling on 13 drones, basically, right? Which is a pretty comfortable number to have for red-blue. It's not very comfortable for double blue, so Arca is like a little bit imposing. It's unclear how we'll ever get to that. Like, sure, I can build, you know, I can cut some tech to build a or a second Blast Forge. I guess. There's something to be said for not building a Blast Forge right now. Build like a drone. That way I can get more income to support a larger amount of tech, eventually the second Blast Forge, right? But I don't think that's a good idea. I think I just want to start attacking more. And importantly get a wall down so I can afford to attack with this Rhino. Okay, so here comes his Hannibal, but we're attacking for 3 this turn, which is fine. 4 next turn, so if I can somehow produce 5 attack this turn, it's not 5, geez. 3 more attack, we could get through his Hannibal right away. But like, the Hannibal's not that amazing for him because he's not spending his green? I don't know, I guess that's fine, he doesn't mind that, does he? Yeah, so I can't really get up to 7 attack anytime soon. I could build a Hannibal of my own, but that only gets me to 6. I'd rather just build a wall and more Tarsiers, I think. He'll get a turn or maybe 2 of good Hannibal value, and then we'll smash it. Right, his Hannibal will absorb 3 next turn, which is fine. He was absorbing 2 anyway on the Urban Sentry. And then we should be able to put together a way to kill the Hannibal after that. He may well get another Hannibal, right? Hannibal Tarsier is like a comfortable thing for him to build. But he's not going to. He's just using the one Hannibal to buy himself a little bit of time to build up more comfortably. That's fine. So 5, 6 attack. We want to make sure we build at least one more unit that can attack next turn to get the Hannibal down. So that could be like a Steel Splitter. Actually, it could be a Hannibal, right? Because what's he going to be attacking for next turn? We'll have killed this Hannibal, so 1, 2, 3, 4, plus whatever he builds. Can he easily get out? I think it's a little bit tough for him. Jeez, should I try to get a drone? I think it's a bit tough for him to get out like 3 additional attack next turn. Even if he builds a Hannibal, that doesn't cut it. And I don't think anything else works quickly enough to kill my Hannibal immediately. So it'll get 1 turn of pretty good value, and that's enough. The problem is I'm about to lose 2 engineers, right? 6, 7. I need to save the Rhino, so I am losing 2 engineers. But since I'm going to have 1 turn of being able to block with the Hannibal, I think it's okay to drone here. I don't need to replace the engineers yet. Okay, and then an Urban Sentry, or what? A Steel Splitter? Drones. Huh. That's a little weird. I feel like an Urban Sentry would be better. But I guess building attack this turn is not that useful for him, because it's just going to bump into the Hannibal anyway. Now the question is, do I build more Hannibals? Like, I can spend all of my tech that way, but he's gonna have 3, 4 attack next turn, and then 6 the turn after, and he can add at least 1 more attack easily, so he'll be doing exactly 7. And I never really know how to follow up out of a Hannibal rush. Well, this isn't a Hannibal rush, really. It's out of the mid-game Hannibal, the sort of natural player 1 Hannibal. I don't know how to follow up. Sometimes I build too many Hannibals, and like I just sort of churn my wheels not really going anywhere. Because like I could just do this, right? That's pretty natural. And it keeps me comfortably able to do 7 damage in case he builds another Hannibal. And if he doesn't, it allows me to pressure, you know, his ordinary defense. Well, I guess I actually, yeah, this is a 7 damage next turn, but it doesn't matter because he won't have a Hannibal to attack next turn. I think this is probably better than more Hannibals, because he's going to soon be able to just start killing my Hannibals really easily, and the Hannibal that just like does 1 damage and then soaks for 7 is not that impactful. But I guess I'll be able to click at least, I'll be able to click a Hannibal at least once, right? Next turn? How good is a unit that does 2 damage? 3 damage, right? Because it attacks once and blocks once. And soaks 7 health. That's like 10 damage total, right? But -2 because you're not getting the wall absorb is like 8. It seems pretty decent, but not amazing. This seems fine to me. Just build some real attackers. Yeah, okay. And if he ever builds a second Blast Forge, I can think about countering with my own second Blast Forge to make sure that I have the counter Arca ready. What is this? Oh, is he resigning? I guess. That's... I feel like I might have been ahead, but it wasn't that big a deal, was it? Huh. Well, alright. That's a weird one. So what was so bad for him? What exactly was the problem he was having? Like, what's the obvious thing for him to do right here? He's gonna have 6 attack next turn, and he wants to kill my Hannibal, so fine. You know, put down your own Hannibal, maybe. Maybe. It'll soak for 7, it'll kill my Hannibal. Seems okay. I guess if you do that, you can't defend the Urban Sentry very well. So maybe you can't do that. Maybe you have to build a wall. And a force field. And Tarsiers? No, it has to be like a Rhino. Okay. So this is like not something... Oh, actually, hang on. It could be a Tarsiers, and like, he's got Gauss charges, right? Yeah, Gauss charges are really good against Hannibal, actually, because you can make it up to 7 and then not like commit to having 7 forever. Pretty cheaply. So this seems like an okay turn for him. Why are things so bad that he felt he needed to resign? What happens if he does this? Actually, he doesn't even need the force field this way. Oh, I see. He does because I could threaten to attack with the Hannibal and breach him. Fine. So I do this. Or, actually, I just replace the Hannibal. Maybe? He kills it, of course. But I guess I'm really threatening a lot here. I'm ahead on Tarsiers. Drones are similar. He has an Urban Sentry, which is better than my Steel Splitter, but not by a lot. I have 5 more defense, 4 more defense lying around, and a Hannibal coming in. I guess it is pretty sad for him. Yeah, he's having to build all these walls to defend, and... Ugh. And all he's really accomplishing is killing the Hannibal I'm building every turn. Okay, so I guess I was ahead here. Any other points to note? Opening was, you know, sort of played itself, I think. It's sort of the classic red into blue for player 1. And his player 2 opening, green into blue into red, is also pretty normal and reasonable in this set. Xeno Guardian seems like it... No, Urban Sentry seems like it could see play, so sure. I don't know about the Hannibal. This actually might be the start of the problem. Because it's not that, like, okay, sure. I have one turn where the Hannibal gets to soak 3 damage. I keep saying soak, absorb. Gets to absorb 3 damage, which is 1 more than he was going to absorb with the Urban Sentry. But he never gets to click the Hannibal, and so all it really does is, like, deal 1 damage, get 1 extra absorb on this turn, and then act like a 5 health soak on the next turn, where you, like, pretend this just has 5 health, and then 2 more gets absorbed by the Urban Sentry, right? In a way. Like, if I had dealt 7 damage, he could, and the Hannibal wasn't frontline, he would have, like, treated this as, say, an Energy Matrix, and an Aegis, let's say. The Hannibal kind of turned into an Aegis this turn, in a way, right? Because I can do this, and he just loses this. But if it weren't frontline, he would have chosen to lose this, and then absorb on Urban Sentry. And that would work even if Hannibal had only 5 health. So it sort of was like it had only 5 health this turn. So it produced 1 health the previous turn, 1 attack this turn, and then 5 health. So what is that exactly? That's 7 total health, if you count attack as being worth the same amount as health. So that's actually not very good value for 10 blue-red, is it? I don't think so. Interesting. Like, he didn't float red to get the Hannibal out, did he? No, I don't think so. Yeah, he built the Tarsier at the same time. I guess the problem was, like, he's just a little over-teched. He kept not being able to spend his blue. Having built all this and then, like, a Hannibal. And he has, like, more drones and more... slightly more drones than I do. But he has more tech in the form of this conduit that it's sort of hard for him to spend. I think he would have done well to dump some of this into Gauss charges. In fact, when I said, hey, I'm building this Hannibal, I was thinking it was going to be really hard for him to produce, what, 3 more damage, right? But it's actually really easy. If he just, like, does something a little bit more reasonable. 4, 3, 4, 5, 6. Can't quite do that, huh? Three, 4, 5, 6. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So he can't build the Tarsier this way, but he can still build a drone. And then this just slams perfectly into my Hannibal, right? I think that this would have been a better approach for him. He built these 2 drones on this turn, which struck me at the time, as I said, as a very strange thing to do when he's floating blue. Like, shouldn't he build a Steel Splitter or something? And I noted at the time, okay, a Steel Splitter isn't really doing anything because it will just run into my Hannibal and maybe it's okay to drone. But with Gauss Charge around, I think he had a much better answer available, which was to try to take out the Hannibal. Okay, so I got 1 Hannibal out, and that was pretty nice. Everything else seemed pretty, like, meh. Not much was happening. Not sure exactly what... This was the biggest decision, I think, whether to build another Hannibal or Steel Splitter Tarsier. I don't know what was right, and I don't really want to go analyze, like, what would happen past the end of the game. You know, if he resigns on that turn, then it can't have been that bad a play, right? Or at any rate, we were far enough ahead that we could afford a bit of a bad play. KDX Xanatos, huh? Day 101 of 60? How come I've never heard of this guy if he's been streaming Prismata for 60 days, for 100 days? I don't know. I've never heard of either of these players. What's going on here? Red-green. Very much red-green. These bottom 5? No. These bottom 4 look like the only units that are probably ever going to get bought, if I had to guess. Maybe Auric Impulse at some point, but it's probably too late for that. And neither player has bought any. I'd like to see someone get an Ossified Drone eventually, just because I love Ossified Drones, and I think people undervalue them, but it's probably not time for that yet. 2 Feral Wardens is not a number you usually want. I feel like it should have been Tarsier Feral Warden the turn before. No, I was wrong. Someone built a Smorkus. Okay. I don't think that's a great idea. Why would you do that? And then continue droning? I think it's too late. I think you need to just be, like, spending your money on more efficient attackers. Like, okay, this provides more breach threat, sure, but your opponent has Feral Wardens, he's gonna be fine. 2 Tarsiers instead, and, like, not these drones would be an improvement, I think. If you do that, you can, like, cut this drone to build a conduit as well, which is probably pretty cool. It'll let you maybe one day get an Aegis or 2. I think this guy has the right idea. This is more the kind of unit composition that you want in this set. Oh, look, an Auric Impulse. Oh, what a guy. Interesting. I don't know if it's a good idea, but it doesn't seem awful. Sludge Crawler. More base +5. This is looking like defense grid and maybe try to get Shadow Fangs behind it. Probably not going to be able to get many corpuses, but maybe 1 or 2. Probably not even that. Yeah, high econ into defense grid with Tarsiers, and then Shadow Fangs seems about right. Interesting that my opponent did not build another engineer. I think that that's wrong. If he's going to try to... Oh, you want to harvest your last drone. Yeah, I was going to try to emote him there. If he's going to try to just Shadow Fang rush me, I don't think that actually beats, like, Energy Matrix. I can... Is this a terrible idea? I've done this before, like cut a drone to get a Galvani drone to let me get the Blast Forge. It like lets me put out a Steel Splitter or something next turn, and I could still build 2 drones. That way I threaten to attack and I also have a defender available. It makes it like I'm rushing up through the drones a little bit less quickly this way. But not the end of the world. Next turn we'll get like another Blast Forge. A Steel Splitter is 11. 2 drones is 17. That seems fine. I'm floating some money here, but that's life, I guess. Actually, we might be getting a wall so that I can attack with the Steel Splitter and kill his Galvani. I don't want to get too many Galvanis because it'll neutralize some of the value my Energy Matrix is giving me. What? You're not harvesting the Galvani? Just to let you build another Galvani and a drone? I'm just gonna kill an engineer. Have fun with that. Do I want this? Can I build like... I have just enough to build 2 Tarsiers and an Energy Matrix next turn, actually. I won't if he kills my Galvani, which he absolutely will do. So maybe this is a little too ambitious. I could build a Corpus and an Energy Matrix, maybe? But I'm not going to use the Corpus for a while. Yeah, I think I'll just get another drone here. Okay. I knew that pressing D would not be able to build a drone. I was like, I know I don't have any energy, but I like pressed it just in case to double check. You know, I wouldn't want to miss a drone for no reason. So I clicked it even though it's silly. So here's the Energy Matrix. And we can do something like this. Continue attacking to kill stuff since he's not like... If he were building 1 more engineer, then I'd kill a Galvani, but he's not. So one of these Galvanis is orphaned, sort of, right? And the nice thing about like double blue is that there's pixies available, so I can transition into more red and less blue if I want to get Shadow Fangs. Which would be nice, but is not like mandatory. How are we on economy sizes, by the way? I have 19, he has 14. So that's my main advantage. I have a bigger absorber to counteract the fact that he has more attackers. That sort of breaks even, but in the meantime, I've gotten more economy and more tech. He's now trying to push the Shadow Fangs. Fine, well done. In the meantime, he's still not defending, so his Galvani drones look stupid, and we're threatening to breach, like, without too much extra effort. I really would like another Animus for those Shadow Fangs, which means we're doing something like this. The Pixies apply a serious amount of pressure to him, right? He wants to be able to start building Shadow Fangs here, and I don't know, I guess we're really only threatening 3 attack. He plans to build a wall, but like that's not enough. He has to hold drones back if he wants to build Shadowfang plus wall. And that, you know, he can barely afford to do that. So I don't know, I think this is pretty cool. I might find myself wishing soon that I had more attack, or more defense instead of these 2 pixies, but... Alright, so he's building a Corpus instead. I don't know that you want to build second Animus to build Corpuses. I think you have to try for the Shadowfang, whether it's working or not. Oh, definitely don't click the pixie. It lets me lose wall onto Energy Matrix, which is like a dream come true for me. If you don't click it, I lose 2 engineers, which is a lot more awkward. And then later you can click it and maybe exploit some granularity or something. Right, this way I have to lose 2 engineers onto Energy Matrix, which I don't like very much. Okay. Fine. So we're building a Shadowfang. We're clicking all the pixies, right? I guess, well, we're clicking this. And I guess why click this though, right? Like, even if I click all this, he just loses a husk. I don't want to spend 2 pixies on a husk, so forget it. We're not going to do that. Let's do something like this. If he attacks for 8, that's 3, 7, 8. Okay, so I don't want to build Galvani. And if he attacks for 9, that's 4. Ooh, 9 is awkward. I wish he wouldn't do that. 4, 7, 9, huh? Well, I'm not gonna hold a drone to stop him from doing that, am I? I guess I am. Now 9 is okay. I can lose 4, 7, 8, 9. I guess I might as well kill a Galvani since it's free. Yeah. I could build my own Galvani here, but he's going to be doing 9 damage, which means that it wouldn't be doing anything anyway. I'd rather just float the gold and see if I can do something useful with it. Really? Wait. What? Clicking the pixie would have killed a drone. It was clearly the correct thing to do. Yeah, I guess we click all of this. Oh, jeez, I'm so exploitable right now. Right? What is it? He's attacking for at least 9, 11, and he could attack for 12 if he wanted, right? But 11 is just as good for him, right? Yeah, and holding a drone doesn't even really help. Okay, wow, I am short on time. Okay, I guess I'm gonna go for this. Losing that Corpus was, I think, a big deal for him. Like, building Corpus as a worse wall really, really sucks. Which is what he's doing at the moment. Okay. There we go. Hold this drone back to let me keep the corpses alive. And we're just not building attack anymore, I guess. I'm just using these corpses. I don't want 2 corpses right away, but they're letting me get husks, right? And to give me granularity back, sort of. He's attacking for what? 11 is fine. 12 is fine. That's why I'm holding the drone. Okay. And I can't do anything to exploit him, so there we go. I still don't understand that Pixie, like, has not been achieving good value, is my opinion of the matter. Okay, get one more Shadow Fang here. I can't keep the Corpus alive if I do that, though. So maybe I should do something like this? Well, actually, I should just build 2 walls then. I still get to keep the Corpus this way. Okay. And his corpses are getting awful value. Like all game long, that's been happening. He doesn't have an energy matrix, he's got fewer drones. He's attacking for less, but I'm able to cope with the attack a lot better than he is. Right, he's just using up all of his Corpus supply on like not really doing much of anything. Ooh, I wish I had $1 more to build that Shadow Fang. But I don't think it matters. I think we're miles ahead now, with these 2 corpses producing value over the next several turns to make up for the fact that I can't really build a lot of energy matrices anymore. And he's losing a ton of drones all the time. Yeah, he's about to buckle, and I'm not even close. Yes, okay. Very good. 3 consecutive wins. Hey, that's cool. Does that mean we did this ticket with just 3 games? I think this was my 3rd game on the ticket. That's kind of nice. So what happened here? This line sort of suggests that he was killing me, right? Like, look at that very sharp, consistent climb. I mean, it's not that sharp, but it's adding 2 damage a turn every turn for several turns. I took a while to get started and then suddenly ramped up a bunch, which was nice. And didn't really build a lot more, but I think this economy graph is enough to make up for it, right? And also the fact that I had an energy matrix and he didn't. I don't know, like... I think this is a 3rd NG set. I expected Galvani drones to feature a bit more prominently than they did. Right? Mine just harvested 1 gold and then soaked up a dollar, like, or a health, which actually sucked, right? Let's look at what this Galvani did, right? I built it here, then I harvested it once, and then I harvested it twice. So it was worth $2. It cost 1. I gained a net of $1. I didn't gain a net of 1 health because he killed it for free. So this Galvani paid off $1 over the course of like 3 turns. And I had to cut a drone to get it. So like that kind of suggests it was not great. Of course, I didn't exactly cut a drone, right? It meant I was able to get out a Blast Forge and the Galvani in exchange for cutting a drone. We had a really recent game that was like this, where I tried to analyze whether cutting a drone to build a Galvani and a Blast Forge is a good idea in a 3NG set. And I didn't really come up with any coherent conclusion, but it certainly was nice to have this Steel Splitter here to start chewing away. Actually, it was amazing, right? He never defended his engineers, which was an awful idea, I think, with the Galvanis around especially. But even without Galvanis, I think you don't want to let your opponent's single Steel Splitter kill 3 engineers. Or did I only kill 2? No, it was 3, right? I killed 1 and he replaced it, and then I killed another one? Yeah, he should have built some absorber before then, whether it was Rhino or what. And then he committed to 2nd Animus. Well, okay, let's not think too much about his plan. Just like, because he did what seemed like to me a lot of things wrong. Was there anything glaring in my play that I would like to fix? This turn feels a bit awkward because I'm floating $3, right? What should I do about that? It's not so clear. I don't have any energy. All I have is $3. So the only thing I could build is an engineer. But there's not really much call for more engineers. I don't want to drone much more. My Galvani is about to die, so it's not like I'm using it for to gain money. I think I wanted a wall here so that he couldn't kill 2 engineers. I don't know. Maybe it was only saving 1 engineer, but it's still, I think, fine. Got out the energy matrix just in time. Transitioned to red. Got a couple more drones. These 2 pixies are interesting. Right? It feels very... This is an awkward way to get out the second Animus. But, you know, that's sort of what pixies are for, is if you don't really need your blue for anything, you can at least use them to get you a little something. And this turn, the turn where I built an Animus, I sort of have... Well... I was going to say that I'm sort of investing more money than usual into, like, red stuff by building this Animus. And therefore it sort of makes sense to be spending my blue temporarily on a blue sink. But the point of building this Animus, which costs $6, is to let me spend more money on red every turn, right? Instead of spending 8 on Tarsier, I'm spending like 12 on Shadowfang. Okay. So I guess this turn, I went from spending 8 on Tarsier to spending 14. And then I'm going to drop back to spending 12. So maybe it's sort of like a temporary... I don't know. It seems like these pixies were fine anyway. Like, they pressure him at a time when he doesn't want to get pressured. And... they let me do a thing that I wanted to do, i.e. like build this Animus without wasting any tech. So I think it was fine. I could have cut the drone and both pixies and had... Oh no, I see. I was... Yeah, right. Yeah, even if I cut the drone and both pixies, I can only spend 1 blue, and I can only spend it on a wall, which I don't even want. So I think this was right. Holding back this drone hurt. It sort of felt like... Actually, that's a good point. I should have seen this coming and not built this drone here. Just build an engineer. Try to count more carefully how much damage my opponent's going to have coming up. And realize that another drone is just not realistic. I'll need to block with it pretty soon. Should have been an engineer. It turned out my opponent kept not clicking the pixie for reasons completely unfathomable to me. He had several opportunities to kill a drone with his pixie. And, you know, for as long as I'm holding back the drone, it's like he did kill it. And so it doesn't matter from that point of view. But I didn't hold it back indefinitely, right? God, this turn it feels like I should get exploited so bad, right? Yeah, and I get exploited a little here. But holding back a drone wouldn't have helped. So he... Yeah. Okay, fine. But let's stop looking at his... We were trying to find out what I did wrong, right? So building this drone was a mistake. It should have been an engineer. This is a fine way to spend all of my tech and keep producing attackers. I'd like to get an engineer at some point, but I can't really. Should this have been wall instead of energy matrix? I don't think it makes much difference either way. Right? If he attacks for 11 against wall, it's actually worse, isn't it? Yeah, it's a lot worse. Energy matrix is much better. I just lose 1 more health, and I pay $1 more for privilege if I'm building a wall instead. The energy matrix just absorbs 2 in that line. And these 2 corpuses feel so dumb, right? Like, so I don't know if I explained it so clearly. I mentioned I was using the corpuses mainly for husks. But, like, what's the problem that I have on this turn? I want to attack with the Steel Splitter, and I want to build an energy matrix. or possibly 2 walls. And I want to get a corpus out so I can start defending with it, but if I just build 1, then the corpus can be killed, right? And indeed will be killed. It's not what you want corpuses to do. So I built the second corpus, planning to use the husks from both of them as my granularity against his pixie. To protect the 2 corpuses being built. I had to hold back a drone to keep him from using the pixie to kill a corpus. He never really did seem inclined to do that for some reason. And so, again, my drone came back to life, which was nice. Here, I built just enough defense to keep the corpus I wasn't clicking alive. I think this second wall was a mistake. I should have clicked the other corpus as well, right? Instead of this wall? No. I'm always getting... Yeah, I should. I would lose 2 health on the corpus. 2 blocking health from the corpus. But gain 3. And that's fine because I'm not blocking with the corpus anyway. It's an illusion that I have 16 defense. Really, in this line, I have 14. So let's look at this real quick just to make sure I'm right. But if I'm doing this, I'm still defending just as well. I'm saving $1 that I get to use to build a pixie. And I'm keeping my wall supply in check a little bit better. And my corpuses are closer to being at the point where I can soak with them, right? You would like to, ideally, click your corpuses every turn. As long as you're getting value out of doing that. Which here I am. It's actually needed to defend. And it's cheaper than building a wall, right? We save $1, and that $1 plus the blue would go into a pixie. So this seems like a much better line. Let's just double check anything weird happened after this. I don't know. I don't remember what he played. But let's say it was like wall corpus. Drones back. He should have clicked this pixie a while ago, so we'll give him the benefit of the doubt here. And he builds an engineer. Can I do this? Yeah, easily I can do that. Just build a wall, and I can even build like a steel splitter, or I guess it might be better to build, oh my gosh, another corpus and a pixie. Amazing. Yeah, so now my corpuses are going to be able to defend. This is much nicer. In the game, when I clicked only 1 corpus, I had this sort of awkward problem of having to defend this corpus that's not doing anything, and I'm floating red. Like, why didn't... I don't know. I just got carried away and thought I had to shift W to defend myself, which was clearly not true. Okay, so that was a couple small mistakes I made. Nothing too bad, but things that would add up against a strong enough player who, would beat me because of those mistakes. So how'd we do? Who knows? I don't know what all these numbers mean. But we get, like, not much stuff. Amazing. Okay. So is it really... I guess I was going to look at my replays, but actually I have a bunch of casual matches in here, and so I can't even tell. These are our last 2 real human games, and here was our last human game. Yeah, so I guess actually... Ah, no, of course. We have 3 wins in a row, but they weren't all 3 games on this ticket, right? We played, I think these 2 were certainly on the same ticket, and I think no games before that. So, all right, we went 3 for 5. 3 wins, 2 losses. Not too bad. Cool. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.